Harlingen CISD, it's time for Super Talk. Be a part of the journey to inspire, engage, and empower.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to the Super Talks. We have a treat for you today. We have Mrs. Erika Uribe, who's Director of Music at Vela Middle School. We also have Javier Cabello, who is just a phenomenal musician. The kid is multi-talented. We were up in San Antonio, Damon, the other day, and it was at the TMEA conference. So it's a state conference. There's thousands of people in the room. The jazz band is just rocking it. And you would have thought, man, it was hard to believe that this was a middle school jazz band. And I even saw college professors and just experts in music combined. They were blown away with just the level of expertise. And I know a lot goes into our director and Ms. Uribe and what she does, but I can't even imagine the amount of work that it takes to get to that level. And Damon, you're in the performing arts, the performing arena, so you can appreciate that. But from your perspective, what do you want to know?
First off, welcome to the Super Talks. We are so thrilled to have you both here, and it is such an incredible thing that you all are doing jazz. I have a huge love personally for that genre of music, and there's nothing to me more exciting in front of a crowd than listening to a great jazz band, and you all are doing an absolutely incredible job. So I'm so thrilled to have you all here. And I want to have an opportunity to ask you, how did you get started in music as a teacher and bringing that, because jazz is not easy to play, and bringing that to your middle school students and being able to get them to perform at such a professional level. So if you would kind of give us a little bit of your journey.
Okay. Well, first off, I'm a product of HCISD. Proud elementary kiddo from Stewart Place and Lamar Elementary.
Awesome.
And I went to Vernon, did the band there, and then went to South, and I was in the band there. I actually didn't start playing in jazz band until I was a junior. And, I was like, okay, this is kind of cool. This is fun. And after that, went to Baylor University, and jazz ensemble was actually my major ensemble. Loved it there. Was a brand new kind of restart to the program. Took every class they had available: jazz theory, jazz, like literature, all the jazz band classes, arranging. So I got really well versed in that. And then you start teaching, and then it's kind of like a blank slate, and you're like, hey, what am I going to do? I started my career in Roma ISD only because Vela, which actually is across the street from where I grew up, literally the field, but next to Stefano's, I grew up right behind that. Oh. And so one day I came home and I was like, hey, Grandma, what's that beeping noise? And she's like, oh, they're building a new school over there. So I went and checked it out, and it was going to be a middle school, and my middle school manager was going to be the head director there at the time. But I was too young to student teach there, so I had to wait. I had to go get a job someplace else. Went to a great program in Roma, but they didn't do jazz. And so ultimately, I knew a couple of years later the job was going to open up. And I told them they were ready to offer me the keys to the castle. And I said, no, I want to go home and I want to do jazz. So I left, came back here to Harlingen, got the job at Vela. And we actually didn't have a jazz band for a while. There wasn't that interest in it, and you had to kind of build that interest. We started having a jazz band in 2014, and we won the first contest we went to. And after that, the kids were kind of bit with the bug, and we've just been going ever since, rocking and rolling, and it's just progressively gotten bigger and bigger and bigger.
And Javier, one of the things with you is that there's a lot of talent on the entire team, the whole jazz band, and just phenomenal. But you stand out. I mean, you really had some great solos with that saxophone, and you sang, and there's a little bit of dancing, and it was just, I think your sister was also there. She was part of the performance also, so just so much talent in the family. But what's your story with music? There's a lot of kids out there that want to get to your level. You're currently in 8th grade. You're playing like you've just been playing forever. So what instruments do you play? What's your background? How did it all happen?
Well, I've always been very performative, I would say. I like to talk, and I talk a lot. And I'm very loud. So I've always been a natural performer. And ever since I could move my fingers, I've been playing the piano. And I played with my teacher who taught me piano, Miss LeBeau, and we would go to recitals and we would perform at the age of 6, and I still do those recitals. And she taught me guitar, she taught me vocals, she taught me bass guitar, she taught me the fundamentals of music, And then in third grade, I moved to Lee H. Means Fine Arts Academy, an amazing elementary school, which birthed a foundation of the fine arts in me, which I still have to this day. I started doing musicals and singing, and I've been doing that ever since, and I still do musicals. I'm in speech, drum, and debate, and I'm actually going to nationals this year. To
Congratulations.
compete. Thank you. I want to, this year actually, I want to, for my goal is to keep playing, keep singing. We're going to 2 more competitions this year, right?
Yeah, 2 more. Yep.
And I want to go to nationals and I want to win. I want to win.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. And Ms. Uribe, one of the things that I love about your style is it's a no-nonsense approach. I mean,
Yes,
it's just the standard, and the kids just respond to that standard. But they're having fun, you're having fun, but it's very clear that it's a no-nonsense, let's perform at an elite level, and you get everybody to perform at that level. Where'd that come from?
Well, you know, and like Mr. Wilson had stated earlier about jazz and love of jazz, if you are well versed in jazz, you understand the history of jazz and how the legitimacy and the want of that culture to be legitimized. And so people that teach jazz, like legitimately, you know, we have a standard that we're going to stick to, and we're never going to, you know, make it out to be like a show. And we have a standard that we have to live up to, you know, your Dizzy Gillespie's and your Wayne Shorters and all the guys that came before us in jazz. And so when you get up there and you're an educator, all those people's, all that history is on your back, and you got to make sure that you're going to deliver when you're on the stage, just to make sure that you honor the past. So, and with us at Vela, we have a lot of really high-flying students like Javier, and, you know, they demand and they really long for the opportunity to make sure that they're functioning at the highest level possible. And so, of course, you have to manage the players you have, but always keep in mind that that standard of excellence has to be there. Otherwise, when it doesn't happen, it's not that level. It comes off as kind of kitschy, and it's not authentic. And so that's what the kids really demand. And even if they might kind of like push on you a little bit, they really want to be the best of the best. And so that's why there is no nonsense about it. And we're very upfront and frank about this is what's next. But, you know, of course, with kid gloves, we're never going to make a kid feel like they're out of place. But we're always going to be pushing that envelope right to the edge.
Right. And the result is excellence. And we're trying to bottle that same approach with regard to curriculum and instruction, with regard to safety and security, with discipline and order, with every aspect of the organization. We're trying to replicate that same magic, that same no-nonsense environment where it's love-based, but there's definitely a standard in order to take this district to the next level. It's always been a great district, but every district, every organization has room for improvement. And I think the main way to improve is to take that approach where we're going to have fun, we're going to love it, but it's no nonsense, and there's a system and a process for the universe of all possibilities. Exactly. And then with that comes beautiful music. So I think the music is a byproduct of the system. Yes, it's almost as if you're not chasing that level of music. It just happens.
Yes.
And that's what makes it so beautiful.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And leading off of what you were saying with that, for you, when you are performing, when you have that saxophone, which I did a play one time where it talked about that the musical instrument was his father's voice. When you were in those moments up there on that stage, because it's amazing on the number of instruments that you can play and the talent that you have, and those things come out of you. What is that like? Because there's so many of our students, I feel like, that they sit on their talents. They're very talented, and they sit in the back of the room, and they're afraid to get up there. What does that do for you, those moments? How has that changed you as a person, or how do you feel at those moments whenever you're up there?
Well, I've never been afraid to perform. Even in my first times, I've never been afraid. I've never had stage fright, but I love to perform, specifically when I'm playing saxophone and I'm up there and I'm playing those solos, especially that ballad in TMEA. It's all about emotion, really. Even when you're acting. Like earlier this year, I played Scar in Lion King, and that was probably one of my favorite roles I've ever played ever, because you are so into the character, and it's very much. I'm not Javier right now. I am the character that I'm playing, and so when I'm playing saxophone, the song is about. It's called "Before We Say Goodbye," so it's a sentimental song, and I feel like you can play it, and if you just play it normally, it'll come out great. But you have to put emotion in there, put feeling into the song, and that's what separates good from great. When you put emotion into your playing and really think about what is this song about? Why does it sound like this? What would be good for the improvised solo, especially in the middle? I have a solo during the song, and it's completely improvised. And so I have to think, what is this song about? And with the beats and the notes that are playing, what would be good for the solo? And it has to be very dramatic, especially with that song, because if it's a song about love, you're not going to play it fast beat and very hitty and hard. No, it's a calm, relaxed song. So I put emotion to my performances. When I'm performing, I like to put emotion when I'm playing and when I'm singing as well.
Yeah. I love that. And I, for the people out there watching, I think that regardless of whether you're dealing with music or whatever you do for a living, I think the secret, if you want to be great, is to put emotion, put passion, put love, put some gusto behind. If I'm a superintendent, then I got to put passion and emotion and love behind what I do. Otherwise, I'm just going to be average. And I think the same is true for every other profession, whether you're a director of music in what you do, or whether you're an architect or an engineer, a teacher, an astronaut, whatever it might be, a business owner. I think that that's the lesson from this Super Talks, is really do some soul searching and see how much passion and emotion you're putting into your game, and that'll take you to the next level. What do you want to do? What's the ultimate goal? If you picture your future, going to university, making a living, what do you want to do for a living?
Picturing a dream life for me would be performing. That's really what I would love to do. It's what I think I was put on this earth to do, to perform, which is why I love to do it, and I'm never going to stop performing. I think I would love to go on movies, and I would love to continue to play saxophone, and I would love to sing. That was probably one of my favorite parts of TMEA. That last song, that was amazing. That felt amazing. Singing with the whole band playing right behind me. And I love to act. It's something I've always been naturally able to do. And if I could do that for a living and perform and play saxophone, that would be the dream. That would be amazing.
Well, I'm here to tell you that it is definitely possible, because you have a gift. And I think that, some of the greatest speakers in the world, you don't only hear what they're saying, you feel what they're saying. And some of the greatest singers, the greatest musicians, you actually feel. So as an audience member, I felt it. I felt the vocal, I felt the passion, I felt the saxophone, the solos, the entire band, even how you were just directing the music and just how you were working your magic, and the warm-up, the performance, even high standards at the end. When the percussionists weren't there for the picture, it's like, I saw that and I was like, she doesn't let up, man. Like it's the whole ball of wax. It's from warming up to the performance to the pictures at the end. It's going to be done this way, and you better be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there. I love that.
Yes. And the one thing I think when Javi's talking about is when you're teaching kids, you're coaching kids, because that's really what you're doing at the end. There's the part where you're teaching, and y'all have experiences where, it's like every detail, do it again, do it again, do it again. And then there's a part where you can kind of let go, and you can see what are you doing? All right, let's watch what you're doing. Okay. And so there was a moment that I think it finally clicked for Javier and his ballad. So we're rehearsal about a week before TMEA, and it's like, okay, it's been going all right. I'm just waiting. Okay, I know he's got the talent. When's it going to happen? When's it going to click? And you could feel that click where he just decided all of a sudden, okay, I'm going to work this. Okay, I'm getting it. I understand the message. And then he just turned it on. You can see that where he turned that corner. It's like, okay, now you're becoming a performer. Now you're becoming a big boy. Now you're starting to become that next level of musician that, usually the 8th grade doesn't happen. It doesn't happen usually until high school. So he's starting to make that turn already, and then it just goes from there. You know, you're just there to add to it, to facilitate the ability that's there. And that's ultimately our job, is to get the kids to that point and then let them rise.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's what I love. It's when it goes from being just the notes on the page to being music and emotion, that's when you're using the highest form of yourself as a performer, as a person. And that's why, and I love when you were talking about that, of the importance of putting in your emotions, because I feel like so oftentimes with students, that one of the reasons why some of the kids that I've worked with over the years have been lost is because they didn't have a place for that emotion to go. And so my whole thing with any of our students is find your passion. What are you passionate about? And go for that thing and work that and bring that out, because it really and truly will grow you as a person. And so that's amazing that you're teaching your students to find the music, the musicality, but the music in it. And that's incredible.
Who's your hero, Javier? Where do you get your inspiration? Where you say, man, this person is my hero?
I would say my mom is definitely my hero. She's, I love my dad very much also. My dad works an incredible amount for me, and that's very, very inspiring to see how much he does for the people that he loves. But I also think that my mom is the person who molded me into who I am, because my dad works a lot for us. So my mom was the one who was like telling me and showing me how to be me. And she is what made me so outgoing, so not afraid to be myself, and not afraid to go out on the stage and perform, whether it's singing, whether it's playing, whether it's acting, anything. A lot of people are scared or shy, but no. My mom, from a young age, made me who I am in so many ways. And so, yeah, my biggest hero is my mom.
I love that. And I know your mom's here on the sidelines, and I see her emotion. I see her love for you. So congratulations, moms. You've done a great job with this young man. And so I know to all the parents out there, I mean, what mom doesn't want to hear that? I mean, knowing that all the hard work that you're putting in is having the desired effect, and that's to put your children in a position to excel. But, to your dad is a medical doctor, is that right?
Yes, an intensive care unit doctor.
Right.
Wow.
So
Wow.
And I love my dad very much. He's also incredibly, incredibly amazing. He works for me. He showed me what you do for the people that you love and what you do for the people that you want to be there with you. Because my dad's a doctor, and he spends a lot of his money on us. Yeah. If he really wanted to, he could get whatever he wanted in his life. But no, he works and he gets us the life that we want, really. Yeah. There's a lot of things that I have that I don't need, and it's thanks to my dad. And I love him a lot because he showed me that you make sacrifices for the people that you love. You make lots of sacrifices. Right. And he also, I've spent a lot of time with my dad. I work out with him, and we're really, really close. Yeah. I love my dad very much.
Well, that is cool. And I sat right by your mom and dad during your performance, and I know that they were just full of pride, taking pictures. I think your mom, she took video of the whole event. Your dad was sitting there. I could just see how proud they were of you. So to all the moms and dads out there, a lot of times the hard work you think is going unnoticed, but your children are appreciative. And I think Javier is able to put that into words and be an inspiration for us all. If you feel like you can do a better job as a dad, or you feel like you need to up it as a mom, I think that, a lot of times we put undue pressure on ourselves because our children do appreciate the work that goes into everything that we provide for them. So I'm glad that you were able to package that answer that way, because I think that there's some people that will find some inspiration in that.
Absolutely. For our guest, are there any last words that you would like to say to your students, to family, to the community?
Yeah, I mean, with our kiddos that are, in the band program and doing the thing, thank you for the hard work. It's hundreds of hours that they put in over the last 2-3 years, some of them 4, because we do have some of our kids hang on a little bit longer with us. Of course, their families, thank you so much for investing your time and your efforts to get them to and from and support them when we all know they go home and then there's tears when things don't go well. We don't see the tears, thankfully, but to thank the parents for that. And of course, my family has given me the opportunity to do this. They've always supported me. I mean, my mom brought me Olive Garden today for Valentine's Day. And balloons, of course. And of course, my husband, who's been there. You see him in the background. He's always there and always available. And of course, our staff. I mean, our team at Vela is fantastic. Desi and Philip working with me hand in hand. And of course, our extended lesson staff that we have that comes in as well. And our administration. I mean, you can't do it without people that support you. Our administration at Vela is top notch. Campus culture is amazing. All the teachers are very supportive. So I'd like to thank all of them as well. And of course, y'all for letting this be possible.
Yeah, well, thank you, Mr. Uribe. And keep being you. Keep that standard going. I mean, even the times that I've visited your class, it's a no nonsense. It's almost like we got every minute counts. So kind of keep that intensity going, and we'll all learn from that. Javier, any message for your friends, for your family, for anybody out there that wants to follow in your footsteps or that you want to inspire in any form or fashion?
I would say to do what you love to do what you are passionate about, and don't be afraid of what anyone else tells you. If you love doing what you do, then you do it. And whether that's performing or whether that's something else, if you love to play sports, if you love to color and draw and art, you do what you love to do and you do it your way. And don't let anyone else tell you otherwise.
There you go. Well, there's a message for the world. Get after it, people. Do it your way and have fun doing it. Hope you enjoyed the Super Talks.